Hey everyone, how you doing? It's Peter here, and it's time. It is time for the PDG Advertising Podcast, episode 23 for Tuesday, the 21st of May, 2019. So this morning we had a wonderful call, and if you've been listening over the past, goodness, if this is the 23rd episode, then there have been 3 weeks worth of these, and this is coming into week 4 of the podcast, so you might be getting to know the rhythm of the kind of calls that I'm having and how that's working out. And if you do remember, this time last week we had a call with one of our oldest customers, a women's health brand all across the other side of the world in Australia. And one of the big topics today was Gmail marketing. So if you hear me talking about Google AdWords on the podcast, normally we're talking about search. Other times we're talking about display. And sometimes we're talking about Google Shopping. But Google, being the all-seeing big G, as a lot of people call it, has another way of getting in front of your eye line. If you are a Gmail user, you will possibly have seen adverts pop up on your Gmail. It happens as the first email that you open on your list of emails. Interestingly, it doesn't happen for me anymore because our Gmail account is run as a corporate account under Google Suite. So it means we don't see those adverts. And oddly, that is a bit of a problem because we need to be able to see what's happening on adverts in order to create effective adverts. So what we're doing for our customers, we experimented with this about a year ago. And this is actually one of the great things about this customer, of which there are many, that we try stuff out, that we have a core of 80% of doing what we know works and doing it over and over again. And then 20% of time is spent experimenting, tasting new things and finding out what works in different areas. So what we're doing is we did last year an experiment on Gmail adverts to see if we could get in front of people. Now it went okay. The results weren't necessarily there. We got a lot of clicks, and in Gmail advertising it's opens. And it gets quite complex, this. But what I want to share is what we're going to do for this customer. And what we're doing is we're going to match up Gmail adverts to a part of the customer lifecycle. So whenever a customer hasn't purchased for a while and they're due to purchase again, what we're going to do is we're going to put an advert into their Gmail and we're going to get in front of that customer. We're going to do that by uploading an audience to Google Ads, and then we're going to match the advert to that audience. I want to do it dynamically, but I'm not sure if we can. I'm not even sure if we can actually upload an audience in order to advertise Gmail adverts. There are some rules in Google Ads that mean that you can't, like for example, if you have a health product, you can't retarget. So the audience that you create cannot be one that has visited your website before. So it's quite possible that the advert that we're trying to create and the audience that we're trying to advertise it to will not be allowed. So we will need to reverse from that, and we need to go up a level to people who have shown interest in adverts or in topics of a similar nature to what we're talking about, which is women's health. So, and the reason why I'm telling you this is just to let you know our process a little bit, where while we're not 100% sure how that's going to work, we know that we'll figure it out, and we know through our experience that we'll work it out and that we'll get the best possible solution for the customer, because we're prepared to dive in and check it out and see what's going on it and see how we can use it to our customers' advantage. And who wouldn't want that? We're really pushing the boundaries of what we are doing and what our customer can do. So I'm really looking forward to exploring that and working on creating a great solution that touches another eye line of the customer in somewhere where they're very familiar, which is Gmail. So doing a little bit of design work today, and there was something that came up between myself and Anthony, and we were discussing because he created a really excellent design, and I was like, that's not really how people normally do it. And then we both took a step back, and I think I said, well, is that really what we want? Do we want to be normal? Do we want to be the norm? And I don't think we do. I think one of the most important things is that we stand out for what we do. And that's certainly something that we're trying to do with our design. So just because people normally put a button somewhere doesn't mean that we're going to. Just because people normally put a navigational bar at the top doesn't mean that we're going to. Why can't it go somewhere else? And that's something that I think is quite important, that we're open to other possibilities and other opportunities. So should we always follow the norm? Definitely not. I don't think so. And it's something that we should push and try different things. Like just what I was saying about the Gmail ads, that's not the norm. That's a very unsophisticated part of Google Ads, and yet we're dipping into it to find out what's going on in there and see how we can potentially use it on behalf of our customers. And that is very much part of the PDG advertising format, mantra, and how we try to go about things to use new technology on behalf of our customers in the best possible way. Something else came up, and I hope she doesn't mind me messaging or mentioning her on the podcast, but on LinkedIn, I saw something that was just horrendous. I've mentioned a couple of times, my dad is a driving instructor. I'm hypersensitive to these type of things. And there was a lady, Christine Watson, training matchmaker, who talked about seeing people doing these talking videos on LinkedIn, which, in all honesty, I mean, a lot of them, like, I don't know. I don't really understand them. I don't understand the culture. I mean, I think whenever I'm, creating a piece of content here, you're just getting it raw. You're getting a raw feature and a raw feel of what's going on in the PDG advertising universe. And there are some LinkedIn videos that I see that are just excellent, just really good. Some people on there that I see on my LinkedIn that are just head and shoulders above the rest. But then the vast majority, there's about 95% of the LinkedIn videos that I see that are on a spectrum of just not useful, don't teach me anything, don't add any value to my world, to the ones that are delusional, to ones that are, these gurus that have popped up, these 18-year-old life coaches that pop up, these gurus that pop up claiming wild success, but yet you have to pay $2,000 or pounds to get onto their course where you'll learn about things, and then you end up doing these videos in the car of you talking about how inspired you are and how great everything is and how wonderful everything is, and while you're doing it, you're not focused on the road on these cars. So let's take a step back just so we can rewind and so I can tell you what I'm actually annoyed about here. The Christine Watson said about how someone shouldn't be, she made a comment about how people should not be taking videos of themselves while driving and posting it online. You're not focused on the road. If it's not illegal, which I think it should be, it's certainly not ethical in my book. And I've seen two of them created today. And I think that it's a really big problem. I think that if you're that focused on creating a LinkedIn video, do it somewhere where you're not endangering the lives of other people. It is the scariest thing to know that there are people out there doing that. And I would suggest that people stop doing it immediately. And I would suggest that if someone has told you to do that, or you're doing it because you've seen another guru do it, then think about what you're doing and don't follow these people that are, doing that or suggesting that you should do it, because it's a bad idea. Surely it's a bad idea. Surely there's no logical person that could say that it's a good idea to take a video of yourself and be recording in the car as you're going along. Do you think you're getting some efficiency of time while doing that? Is your efficiency going to be cut short when in that split second that you look to the camera to make sure that it's recording, or whenever it pops up with a notification that a child runs out in front of your car and you kill them? Is that efficient? Is that an efficient use of your time? I don't think it is. And look, this is getting a bit dark and a bit deep, but that's the reality. That's what happens. So think twice about doing that. Stop doing it. Don't do it. And don't tell other people to do it. Be careful who you listen to. Be careful who your guru is that you pick. It's really interesting that Tony Robbins, that guy, I would have listened to some of his stuff before, and I thought it was really good. And then recently I've seen a lot more stuff, a balanced view of it. Talked about the filter bubble before of how Tony Robbins is very aggressive towards women. And I think that on a balanced view, I don't think that he is the guru for me. And I don't think that he's a strong role model or someone to, look up to because of his actions and because of his public actions. And if his public actions are like that, what are his private actions like? And I think that's a potential problem. So that's something that I think is quite important. Choose your gurus wisely. Look them up. Find out what they've done. And be careful of who you take advice from, especially if that person is bringing you to the point of doing a video in a car, a lethal weapon that you could kill someone in, while you're focusing on getting your 5 minutes of fame on LinkedIn. Whew, it's a bit salty, that one, wasn't it? It's a bit aggressive, some would say. But yeah, that's how it is. Tell you what, today I had a real compliment. I don't know if it's a compliment or not, but it was an interesting thing that a customer said. We're in the final processes of signing up a new customer. Really cannot wait to work with this guy and his company. It's really cool. It's based over in Australia, in Perth, and it's a company that I look forward to showing off to you guys whenever we get there. Pick up and again on the podcast. It's not good. But he said something really interesting. So in order to, negotiation and going through contracts and going through the sales process can take a really long time. I'm not into that. I'm into finding out what it takes to onboard this customer and what it takes to make this customer a customer of mine. And I am not we never try to force sell, but we ask very direct questions. So one of the questions that I asked today was, what is in the way of us becoming, of you becoming a client of ours? And the customer said, wow, you're really good with these NLP questions. And I have never taken an NLP course in my life. I don't even like the term NLP, neuro-linguistic programming. I don't like anything about it. I know that it's a Tony Robbins thing. It's interesting that that's come up in this podcast already today. But no NLP for PDG Advertising and no NLP for Peter Doak. I don't know if that'll change in the future because I don't know enough about it, but I really don't like the idea of trying to program someone or me being programmed or anything like that. I just used an honest question of what is holding us back from you becoming a customer. And why I'm asking that is so I can remove the barrier. So if it's a price thing, if it's a time thing, whatever it is, and it turns out that there is literally nothing, and that customer will likely become a customer in the coming days. So I thought it was quite interesting, though, that they thought it was a NLP thing and really wasn't. It was just an honest question, but I quite enjoyed it being mistaken for an NLP comment. Wow, there are some really salty topics coming up today. I don't know why. Today has been a really great day. We've got so much done, and using Asana, we've got so efficient. And one other thing, I actually do always listen to Jordan Peterson's podcast, and he said something recently on one of them that was really hit home with me about efficient people and efficiency. He said, you have no idea how efficient people get. And I think using Asana is a way to step up your efficiency. Asana is a task management platform, and it helps you keep organized with the things that you need to do. And the way I've been using it recently it's just skyrocketed my ability to execute and do things really quickly. So that is useful. Now here's the thing that didn't go so well today. We're doing a little bit of work with one of the councils in Northern Ireland. In order to get paid by the councils, we need to have signed timesheets. Now I get it. I understand that, we need to show what we're doing and need to get it officially done. But the red tape is just unbelievable, because we sent through, I got told that they needed to be signed and sent through. So I e-signed them on the computer so that I didn't have to sign them, scan them in and then print them out again and then get them sent out. Whenever I sent over a e-signature from the computer, the client rep, who was perfectly lovely, by the way, she said, no, you need to get that signed and you need to get that signed and post it off to me. And I thought, what an archaic way of doing it. I have done, the efficiency here is just not there. I have done that. I've signed it off. It's me, it's my name. You know who it is. And I sent it off via computer signature. So it should be fine, but it's not. So I then said, right, okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print this out, I'm going to sign it, and then I'm going to scan it back in, and I'm going to send it over via email so that I don't have to post it off. Because the amount of time that it takes to post something off is just insane. If everybody in Northern Ireland or everybody in the world is spending all their time posting stuff whenever you can just sign something, scan it in and send it off, and it's basically a copy of the original copy, then there really shouldn't be any problem. That should be it. But no, that's not been rejected, but we suggested that we would need to send over the original copy as well. And I might be out of step with legal or out of step with what's actually required in terms of contractual law. I'd love to know. I'm going to need to look up on it. But it seems crazy that you can't just create a signature all online and then have that do as your proper signature. Like, look at the companies in the world. Look at the Facebooks. Look at the PayPals. Look at the online banks these days. Everything that you just don't need to sign things anymore and get them posted off. It's archaic. It's not something that I think needs to happen. And I think a little bit of common sense and taking a step back and thinking, is this really the most effective use of my time, going back and forth with someone about a signature that needs to be posted off? I don't know if it is or not. That is quite a rant for the PDG podcast. I don't think you guys have seen this side of me before, but it comes out especially whenever I feel that time is being wasted. So that's something that's important. I think we all need to think about how we're using our time and whether or not it's effective. Or you know what, maybe I'm just annoyed that I had to to do a bit of work for a change. But yeah, that's what happened there. So again, on another conversation today, something happened that was quite cool. You've heard of things are better face to face. So instead of a phone call or a text message or an email or a letter or a Skype, things are better face to face. I've never really wondered why, but I was told, interestingly, by someone who deals with the neural networks of recognizing facial patterns and recognizing emotions on someone else's face. And he told me that the reason why things are better face to face and better than online is because our brain works with that 3D, being able to see the full picture of what someone's saying, way better than a text message, an email, or a Skype conversation. There's a spectrum here, so an email is not good for delivering news or negotiating something. So it's difficult because it's limited levels of communication. You're not getting the tone, you're not getting the body language, you're not getting any of that. A phone is probably a step up because you're getting the tone, but again, you're not getting the body language and you're not getting the full picture. Skype is another step up, I think, because it's a video conference call, so that's good. But again, it's very flat and it's two-dimensional and it's a little bit awkward and it's a little bit disjointed. I can see why a face-to-face meeting is better, and I think that's something that PDG Advertising are going to bring in soon, where at least we have a yearly meeting, face-to-face meeting with our customers. It can just feel more efficient and more speedy to get things done over a Skype call, and I'm sure it is. But I think in future we're going to need to install that system where we actually have face-to-face conversations with our customers in the future. Everyone, that's it. I hope you've enjoyed this sharing of the journey. It definitely got a bit salty today, and I look forward to resuming normal programming tomorrow, as long as I don't see a whole bunch of people recording phone videos for LinkedIn whenever they're driving. Can you imagine though? Can you imagine if someone you knew got killed because someone was using their phone while driving to create a LinkedIn video to put it onto LinkedIn? Could you just fathom how that would be? Or could you imagine if you did that all because you were trying to do a LinkedIn video? It's not even something that I want to think about, and I think it just needs to end. But enough about that. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll be back tomorrow, and I look forward to going through what's happened throughout the day tomorrow. Bye.